I recently had a friend ask me if we were less busy this time of year, and the answer to that is we stay busy all year round, but in the best way possible. It is not a stressful kind of busy, it's a super fulfilling and rewarding kind of busy. Often while the kids and I are working out in the garden, Cam has his own set of projects that he works on. I showed one of them in our last video, and here Cam is making a place to organize all of my garden stuff since I didn't have enough room for them before, and it was very, very frustrating and I could never find anything. So I'm really excited he was able to finish these more utilitarian shelves in our garage. It's a really yucky, rainy day, so no outside work today, but I do have a project that I need to finish in our garage, and that is organizing all of my garden stuff on these new shelves behind me that Cam built. I'm going to show you some of the things that I got to organize it and how I'm going to do it before I get started. Yesterday we went to our hardware store and got these clear plastic tubs here, some opaque ones here that are like a medium size, and then larger ones here. I think these are 13 gallon, 7 gallon, and I have no idea what these ones are. When we pulled everything out of this corner, we just basically shoved it all here in the middle of the garage. It's a huge mess, even messier than it was previously. So you can see what I am working with here. I am not going to be organizing my tools because I'm hoping to get that taken care of this summer with our tool shed, but all of the things like the perlite and fertilizers, I want to get them in bins instead of having like loose bags everywhere. Time to do some pruning in my orchard. So I'm down here today. I'm going to do a very basic pruning for this year. Last year we had our friend come up here and he is a professional at this, and so he did a wonderful job, pruned all of our trees for us. So I feel like this year I can do like the maintenance pruning, and then we'll probably have him come back again hopefully next year to do more of an intense pruning again. But I know enough of the basics, and I watched him do it last time to know what I need to get, and it's usually just any branches that are crisscrossing, dead branches, extras on there, and shoots that are going straight up. And I actually got 2 peach trees in the mail, and I came all the way down here. I was gonna plant them and I totally forgot about those because I was thinking about pruning. But maybe it's best I just do pruning today. I brought down my pruners, like the big loppers, and then I have a bucket because every year when I go around on these trees, there's always bagworms on them. So I like to remove those and get rid of them so they don't have a chance to repopulate again next year. We have a lot of cedar trees around us, so I think that's why we have so many bagworms up here, because they love the cedars and the evergreens. I just wrapped up this one behind me. I didn't do a lot on the top because I couldn't reach. It was a little bit high for me, so I'm gonna move on and do some of the other ones. We're transplanting the green onions today.
Yeah. Jingly jong. Okay, Mom, are you going to be the one making the holes?
Yeah, I'll make the holes.
Okay, and then we put it in the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Nom 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 nom. Yeah, Mom, these are nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Cardi. I have a stopwatch going.
How many more we got, Noel?
3. Catch your boy. Or stay up with Mom. And Daddy.
I'm finally getting around to planting my kale. I think after I plant it, I'm gonna have to cover it. And mostly because I'm still letting some of my chickens wander in the garden right now. We're also expecting a couple of days that we will get nighttime lows down to 20 degrees, so the extra cover will help with that as well. We have this brand new area of garden that I just amended after the soil test that I did, and we're planning on planting cover crops in it this year. And to prep for that, I mentioned to Cam that I want to put down some compost, but it would save a lot of time if we could just do it with the tractor since we've never planted there before. And right now there are no mounded rows. It's really easy to use the tractor instead, and it saves a ton of time. So Cam just scooped up some compost, laid it down in piles, and raked it across the whole thing. As much as I would love to put down a really thick layer of compost, at this point it's just really unrealistic for us to do that over this area. One, because we aren't planting any veggies or fruits that we're eating this year, and also because the cost would be incredible. It's a lot more feasible for us to just do the cover crops, which also helps to build the soil. I decided to do a mix of 2 cover crops, oats and yellow sweet clover. And yellow sweet clover is a biennial, which means it will also come up next year, which will be really nice because I want it to be in place through this year while the baby comes. I love cover crops for building soil health naturally. Some of the best soils I have are ones where I have planted cover crops in them, and I've also noticed a huge difference in reduction of weed pressure while they're growing and after they're growing. It makes a really big difference. For a while now, we have been wanting to make a compost heap that is closer to our house. We have a few in the garden, and a lot of our scraps we take directly out to the chickens, or when we have pigs, we'll take it to the pigs. But there are definitely some things that chickens and pigs will not eat, and it's just better off for a compost heap. So the first step we did in setting up the compost area was to get a bunch of broken down mulch from different areas of our property, and then we just unloaded it behind our house in the area that we wanted to set it up, which is right off the deck next to the kitchen. Wow, that'll make it really easy to throw in the compost. Cam got some more sawmill scraps. These are just bark ends from a sawmill. Got a really great deal on them again, and so these are perfect for this purpose because you don't need anything fancy, but What they did find out was, since it is white and red oak, the wood was very hard and not quite fully cured yet, so they broke a couple of drill bits in the process of making these compost bins. Originally, we had planned on just doing one big one, but we ended up separating it into two so that we could have one in the process of building and one that is more finished. After everything is said and done, these compost bins will be 4 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet. We actually didn't finish it all in that same day. We're planning on finishing it a little bit later, but we got it to a point where we felt like we could start adding to it. Kim is going to build a door for it, and you can't really tell in the video, but it does sit away from our house about a foot and away from the deck about a foot.
Okay, next one.
We're cutting up some lard today. This is from 6 Pigs.
6 Pigs, yes.
Last year we got the lard already ground up, and this year they did not grind it, they just cut it. So we are having to hand cut it and put it in the pot. For this lard, I am not gonna do a tutorial on this. This is only our 2nd year doing this, and I don't feel like I'm anywhere near an expert. But I'll tell you where I learned from, because it was a really good resource. So my friend Crystal from Homestead, in her Instagram account, she has saved story highlights, and one of them is about lard, and she has a really good tutorial about it. So that is where I learned from, and that's what I did last year. It worked really good. The lard did not have an overly strong flavor at all.
None at all,
and
yeah.
no flavor, basically, which is what you want.
No pork flavor.
That is what we're using again this year, is that same tutorial.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works.
This doesn't smell good.
It just smells like fat.
It smells like disgusting.
Good job of shaving that hair all off.
As the lard was cooking, I separated it out into 2 pots. This was my first pot, and this is my second. Yeah, I did that just because as it kind of cooks along, the fat gets more brown and it gets a stronger flavor. So like, this is the clean batch, and this may not be quite as clean, although this looks pretty good. We are not going to save, actually we will save some of this fat, but this is like the cracklins. You can cook them down. Cam and I do not love them. So we are going to save the fat to use for frying, but it won't go with the rest of the lard because this is not a very clean lard. It's pretty strong flavor. So we'll just keep this separate. It's the next day. The lard is solidified for the most part. It is a little bit softer than what you would normally get for lard. I'm thinking the majority of the reason for that is because this is from our pasture-raised pigs. Anytime we have cooked bacon or any of the pork, the fat really never solidifies because there is less saturated fat because it's been raised on pasture, and in large part from my garden scraps. Pretty positive that's the reason. I'm hoping it's not because I didn't get all the moisture out. I'm almost positive that I cooked this long enough that I did. Just in case we're gonna store these in our cold room, I could freeze these if I was really worried about them spoiling, but right now I'm not. We only did a half batch yesterday. If for some reason I did this wrong and it really does have a lot of moisture still in it, then I'll have another chance to try again and do it the right way. I'm tired. My arm's tired.
Here, I'll hold your arm.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Deal with that.
It's funny.